Oh, well, hello, Sin Fam! Welcome back to the channel. My name is Cyanide, and if you're new to the channel, I just want to give you an extra special welcome. Glad to have you and hope you enjoy yourself. But before we begin, I'm going to ask that you smash the crap out of the like button, subscribe to this channel, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any videos from me. I just want to let you know that I stream on Twitch on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, going on until midnight Eastern Time. Give or take about 5 to 15 minutes. Sometimes even longer. I had one time I went over by an hour. So I also stream on YouTube on Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting sometime between 3:30 and 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm guaranteeing about 4 hours, if not more. Usually it ends up being a little bit more, unless obviously there's inclement weather that prevents me from playing because I don't want to damage my PC. So today we continue our series on Final Fantasy guides. We're going to go over mechanics today. Mostly like the dodging mechanics, because I noticed even when you get up to like the 70s and sometimes even the 80s, people don't understand what to do with certain mechanics. So I thought it would help if we went over some of those. So we'll start. I guess we'll start with the basic mechanic. I'm going to be showing you some footage as I was grinding out some raids, but the mechanics still hold true. They're mechanics that you use very often. Now there are some specific mechanics for specific fights, and if you want me to do some of those, just leave those questions in the comment section. I'd be happy to go over those with you. But these are mechanics that you see over and over and over and over again. And for some of them, people just aren't able to grasp. So, the basic mechanic is orange bad, meaning if it's ever orange on the ground, you want to make sure you step outside of it. And it comes in many different shapes. There's crosses, there's bars, there's circles, there's cones. But either way, the whole objective is to get outside of the orange. Now, the interesting thing about this that a lot of people don't realize is the damage only registers as long as you are in the orange when it disappears. If you're outside of the orange, when it disappears, like if you get out before it disappears, you will not take damage even if you step back into where it was when the spell animation is going off. So you only need to get outside of it, before it disappears. Once the orange disappears, your location in the spells area is locked in, and you're going to take damage even if you get outside of the damage area before the actual spell animation comes. You will still take damage if you did not get out before the orange circle disappears. And like I said, they'll even, a lot of times, especially when you get into the 70s and 80s, a lot of dungeons and yes, raids especially, they'll even start to have sequential moving versions of this exact same mechanic. So, sometimes we'll have as an example from one of the raids I've been doing. They put up a donut, the safe spots in the middle, and then they'll keep flashing a donut and moving it along the floor, and you have to move forward in order to, and stay within the new donut as it continues to move as the boss keeps launching spells. And you'll see an example of that in the clip that I'm showing. So they do a lot of interesting things with the basic mechanic, and sometimes that can get kind of crazy. Sometimes, especially when it comes to raid, you'll have to memorize what each thing the boss does in order to avoid it, because it flashes so quickly. If you don't memorize the name of the ability and where to stand, you won't have time to get out of it. But it does display it, even though for a short time, so it gives you that opportunity to actually learn it. Secondly, and this is a big one, for some reason people keep on messing up on these, it's the stack mechanic. So, as you'll see in the example, you'll have a pulsating crosshair on you. And it comes in many shapes. Sometimes you'll have, it'll just be a line of arrows on each side of you, and that means you have to stack in line with each other, like one player behind another. But most of the time it'll be just a crosshair on somebody, and that means everybody needs to go run to that person and stand on top of them so that the damage is distributed amongst many people, or a lot of times it'll one-shot the person if they're by themselves. The reason I mentioned this one so big is because I've seen people get that mechanic on them and run away from the party, which is the exact opposite of what you want to do. You really need to have, you really need to understand that you should run towards your party to lessen the time it takes when they get there, to maximize the number of people standing on it before it actually goes off. Because once again, once the arrows disappear, the damage in your location is registered, and there's no way for you to get outside of that. Another mechanic a lot of people seem to have problems with is, I call it the distance one, but essentially what it is, you'll have an impact location or a center, and it pulses outward, changing color from orange to purple the further it gets away. That's supposed to hint to you that the further away from the center of this attack is, or that you are, the less damage you'll receive. It comes in many forms. Like, it's used quite often. In fact, there's sometimes where a boss will put one in 4 corners as an example, and the whole point of it is you're supposed to find the location where the least number of those attacks intersect, or find the location furthest away to do damage. So if they do 4 in each corner, the center of the room is the safest place, the place where you take the least amount of damage, because although all 4 of them are merging on each other at the center and you'll take damage from all 4, you will not take the increased damage if you're only separated and you're closer to the epicenter of 2 of them. So the best location would be the center of the room. Even though you're guaranteed to take damage at that point, and the reason you want to be in the center is because it gives your healers a break. Because let's be honest, a lot of times the healers are the hero, or the unsung hero of the group, and a lot of people will try to argue that they're too arrogant, but it's not. I mean, yeah, some of them can be, but the reality is that they're extremely important, just like the tank, just like the DPS. I mean, you have to have DPS, otherwise the boss isn't going to die fast enough, and the longer the boss survives, the more room for mistakes there are. So, it's extremely important that the whole group works together, and you understand that taking it easy on your healers is the best way to ensure group survival. So, another mechanic that's kind of related to that, and this, as you'll see in this example right here. When you get this symbol, it looks like arrows coming off of you, as you can see. That is essentially a distance attack, like a distance attack, just like when where there's an epicenter, you have to move further away. But the person who it's locked onto is guaranteed to take damage. There's nothing you can do about that, and so that individual must move as far away from the party as possible, so that the party does not take damage. And if there's multiple in the room, the party needs to stand in the center of the room, while the people while the people that have that mark separate to separate corners of the room in order to minimize damage to not only the party but themselves as well, or each other as well. So it's extremely important that you understand, those basic mechanics, because a lot of people don't know what to do with those. So, it's important that you understand. And I thought maybe it'd be helpful to discuss those things and help you understand those mechanics. One little thing to mention as well, as you'll see in this example right here, oranges can also overlap, as you can see. What you need to realize is that if something happens and there's orange everywhere on the screen, you're guaranteed to take damage. You need to get out of as many of them as possible, because you will take damage from every single one of them that you are overlapped on. So if you have no choice, you're going to take damage. Try to find a location where only one is, and you can see it clearly overlapping. It's darker in the areas where they overlap. So I hope this video has helped you understand some of these mechanics a little bit more. If you have any further questions, please just leave those questions in the comments. More than open and more than willing to help you guys, adjust to the mechanics, especially if you're coming from WoW or just starting with your first MMO. I'm more than willing to help anybody if I can. If you have any questions or any topics you'd like me to cover that you think I can give you some additional help on, let me know. I've done a lot of raiding and I've done a lot of other things as well. So I have a clear understanding on most of, or a strong grasp and a clear understanding of many of the mechanics, and hopefully I'm able to help you guys out directly as possible. So if you enjoyed this video, please smash the crap out of that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with your friends, especially if they play MMOs and they're looking to play Final Fantasy XIV. Maybe that'll give them a little bit of help as well. I just want to remind you that I stream on Twitch on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, going on to midnight Eastern Time, and I stream on YouTube on Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting between the hours of 3:30 and 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, going on for guaranteed 4 hours. So I'd love to have you over there. Just smash that subscribe button over here, then head over to Twitch and slap that follow button. With all that said, I just want you to understand that gamers can and should be unifiers, and you should live your best game. And I'll see you next time.